Sit quietly for a moment and listen not with your ears, but with your awareness. There is a sacred truth hidden in plain sight. You are the cause of your own fortune. The lottery is not something you win by chance. It is something you align with by law. You play not to see if you win. You play because you've already won in consciousness. The ticket in your hand is not a gamble. It is a symbol of your inner assumption made visible. The first step, plays, is not a physical act, but a spiritual one. You step into the role of the fortunate, the blessed, the chosen. You walk to the counter or you press a button, but it is not your hand that moves. It is your belief that propels you forward. The second step, speak, is the declaration of your dominion. What you say after I am shapes your reality. Speak as one who has received. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am the winner of great fortune. Let no word contradict the image you hold within. To say, I hope, I wish, I need, is to cast doubt into your creation. Instead, speak only the end. I have received. Then comes the third step, receive. This is where most falter, for they expect bells and flashes. But the receiving is quiet. It is an inner acceptance, a calm knowing, a peaceful gratitude before the money shows up. You feel it in your bones. You carry the vibration of arrival, not waiting. What follows is inevitable. The world rearranges, the right numbers align, the ticket is drawn, the win becomes fact. But you are not surprised, for you lived it long before it appeared. This is not magic, it is law, and you are the lawgiver. The lottery is simply one channel of abundance. It bows to the one who assumes the throne of the fulfilled desire. So today I tell you, play, speak, receive. Play as one who knows. Speak as one who owns. Receive as one who remembers. You were never waiting for luck. Luck was always waiting for you to believe. Your world as you know it is not built from action or effort, but from the unseen movement within your own consciousness. Everything that appears outside of you, the people, the events, the so-called coincidences, are all reflections of what you have assumed to be true about yourself. This includes even the most improbable manifestations, such as winning the lottery. You may believe that a win happens after you play the ticket, that it's based on odds, statistics, or random chance, but that is the illusion. In truth, it happens after you become the one who has already won, not in the outer world, but in imagination. Imagination is not a child's game, nor a passive daydream. It is the creative force of your reality. What you vividly imagine and feel to be true becomes your actual experience. When you hold a picture in your mind of holding the winning ticket, of seeing the numbers match, of receiving the call, of hearing the announcement, and you do so with a deep emotional certainty that it is already done, you are creating a new cause. The outer world is only the delayed reflection of that cause. People often mistake reality as something solid and fixed, governed by external laws. But this is a limited view. Reality is fluid, malleable, and entirely obedient to the assumptions you consistently entertain. If you imagine yourself as someone who is always unlucky, who never wins, who hopes but expects disappointment, then that is the script life will follow. But if you reprogram your inner speech, your inner vision, and your feelings to accept that you are already the winner, then the world will reflect this truth in the most natural and seamless way. It is not your job to know how the win will come. That is the domain of the unseen intelligence that governs manifestation. Your job is to occupy the state of the fulfilled desire, to feel right now the relief of the win, the joy of financial freedom, the excitement of sharing your abundance. This inner experience is not just wishful thinking. It is the mold into which your world will be cast. The moment you truly believe, not wish, not beg, but believe that you are the winner, a shift occurs. Your energy changes, your conversations change, your decisions change. And subtly, quietly, the world responds to your new vibration. The opportunity appears. The right numbers come together. What once seemed unlikely becomes your lived experience. So the win does not come when the draw is made. It comes in the stillness of your own mind, when you finally decide to see yourself as already in possession of the prize. This is the secret few know and fewer trust. But once you accept it, you will never chase another outcome again. You will imagine it, live from it, and watch as reality bends to your inner vision. For imagination is not an escape. It is creation. It is the only true reality. To play is to believe. Every action you take in pursuit of your desire must spring from a deep inner knowing, not from desperation or blind hope, but from the conviction that what you want is already yours. When you play the lottery, you are not placing a bet against the odds. You are aligning your outer action with your inner truth. The ticket you hold is not a symbol of chance. It is a confirmation of your faith. Most people play hoping to win, but hope carries with it the vibration of lack. Hope says, I don't have it, but maybe someday I will. Faith, on the other hand, says, it is mine already. I am just watching it unfold. This is the great divide between those who continuously chase and those who quietly receive. When you play from a place of faith, the energy around the act changes entirely. You are not playing to get something, you are playing to match what is already true in your imagination. Faith does not wait for evidence. It does not check the numbers with anxiety or hold the ticket with trembling hands. Faith moves with calm, steady assurance. It knows that the end has already been written. The ticket becomes a physical anchor for your internal state, a ritual that expresses the truth you already carry. I have received. This is why people who win often say, I just knew it. That knowing was not arrogance or luck. It was alignment. They had already seen the result in their imagination. They had rehearsed the moment in their mind, the celebration, the freedom, the confirmation, so thoroughly that the actual event was simply the natural outpicturing of that inner vision. Playing the ticket was not the cause of the win. It was a faithful echo of the assumption they had already made. To play with faith is to remove doubt. It is to take the action not for the purpose of creating the outcome, but to affirm that the outcome already exists. You are not playing to receive the win. You are playing because you have already received it. The ticket is not a test. It is a token. This shift in mindset changes everything. It releases you from worry, from frustration, from the draining cycle of trying and failing. It allows you to enjoy the process because you are no longer playing from the outside in. You are creating from the inside out. So the next time you play, do not ask if it will happen. Declare that it already has. Play not as a seeker, but as one who has found. Let your action reflect your belief and not your uncertainty. For when you act in alignment with your desired outcome, reality must catch up. The world cannot resist the certainty of a soul who already knows. Play not as a plea, but as a proclamation of what is already done. Your words are not idle sounds, they are creative power. Every time you speak, you are casting a spell over your life. Whether you realize it or not, you are continually affirming what you believe to be true. And what you believe, you become. This is why it is crucial to speak only from the end, from the fulfilled desire, never from lack or limitation. When it comes to manifesting something as seemingly improbable as a lottery win, your words matter even more. They are the seeds that shape the soil of your consciousness. What you consistently say about your luck, your money, your chances, is what you give permission to appear in your world. If you say things like, I never win, or people like me don't get lucky, then you are not just stating an opinion, You are commanding your reality to conform to that script. Words are not reflections of the world, they are instructions to it. You are not describing what is, you are creating what will be. And when your words carry the vibration of defeat, doubt, or desperation, you block the very miracle you are waiting for. But when you speak as one who already has, when your mouth moves in agreement with your imagination, then everything begins to align in your favor. The truth is, you cannot entertain one vision in your mind and speak another with your mouth. The conflict will cancel the creation. You must become unified. Your inner pictures and outer expressions must tell the same story. When you imagine holding that winning ticket, receiving the money, living in financial freedom, then speak words that affirm that vision. Say, it's already done. Say, I am abundant. Say, the win is mine and it's finding its way to me now. Speak with certainty, even when nothing around you seems to support it. The world is not the authority on your destiny. Your words are. The moment you align your language with your desired reality, you begin to shift dimensions. You leave behind the timeline of hoping and waiting, and you step into the timeline of receiving and living. And be aware, it is not only what you say out loud, your inner conversation is just as powerful. That voice that whispers doubts, worries, and fears must be transformed. You must teach it to speak only from victory, from fulfillment. Every time it says, what if I don't win? Replace it with, I already have. Every time it says, it's too late, respond, it is right on time. Your word is law to your subconscious. It does not argue, it accepts. So speak deliberately, speak with love, speak with power. Let your words be a prophecy of abundance. You don't have to know how the win will come. Your only task is to speak as though it already has. Speak the blessing, and the blessing will appear. To assume the feeling of receiving is to bring the invisible into form. It is not enough to merely think about your desire or visualize it once in a while. What transforms a desire into reality is feeling, the deep emotional experience of already having what you seek. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. When you enter the mood of the wish fulfilled, you activate a force within you that bends reality around your assumption. What does it feel like to win? Not just the moment of holding the ticket, but the days and weeks after. The calm assurance, the sigh of relief that your life has changed, the freedom of choice, the security of knowing you are cared for. This is the atmosphere you must live in now, not someday, not later, not when the external changes, but now. Most people delay their emotional state, waiting for outer circumstances to give them permission to feel joy, gratitude, or success. But that is not how the law works. The unseen becomes seen when the feeling of fulfillment becomes more real to you than the absence of it. You must reverse the order. Feel it first, and the world will conform. Feeling is not about forcing emotion or pretending. It is about surrendering into the state where the desire is already complete. Let go of the effort. Sink into the sensation. If you truly had the thing you long for, how would you move? How would you breathe? What would your inner dialogue sound like? Would you be anxious, or would you feel peace? To assume the feeling is to bypass the rational mind. You do not ask how, because you already know it is done. You do not look to appearances, because you trust the deeper reality you have claimed. You may walk into a store and see the lottery tickets and smile, not because you're hoping, but because you already know. The ticket is simply the echo of what you've already accepted within. When the feeling becomes natural, when it becomes your new normal, manifestation is inevitable. The world is always responding to your internal frequency. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is determined by the dominant feeling you carry throughout your day. Let your inner world be filled with the emotion of gratitude, even before the wind shows up. Gratitude is the language of receivership. Feel thankful not because you need something to change, but because you know it already has. Your feeling is the magnet, and your assumption is the command. So live now in the state of the winner. Rejoice privately, walk in confidence, sleep with peace, and let your feeling do the work that striving never could. Reality is always listening, not to what you say, but to what you feel. When your feeling matches the wish fulfilled, the world has no choice but to reflect it. The facts of your present situation are not final. They are not the truth of who you are or what is possible for you. They are simply the outpicturing of past beliefs, past assumptions, and past feelings. To live by what you see is to remain trapped in repetition. To transcend your current reality, you must ignore the facts and trust the vision. This is not about denial, but about spiritual authority. You are not a victim of numbers, statistics, or probabilities. You are the cause, not the effect. When you look at your bank balance and it says lack, or when you hear the odds of winning and they whisper impossible, you must look inward and declare, I do not accept this as my truth. The outer world is a mirror. It reflects what you have already accepted within. If you wish to change the reflection, you must first change the image you hold in mind. The vision is the seed of creation. It is the blueprint of your future experience. When you hold to a vision with unwavering faith, you are giving the unseen substance permission to become form. You are calling things that are not as though they are, and in doing so, you give life to what the world calls impossible. Belief is the great shaper of destiny. What you believe with feeling and consistency becomes law in your world. The world may say you can't win, but belief says I already have. The world may say it's too late, but belief says it's right on time. And every time you choose to lean on the vision instead of the facts, you bend reality closer to your desire. Faith is not passive. It is a courageous act of imagination. It is the refusal to bow to appearances. It is the quiet, steady decision to live from a place the senses cannot yet see. The facts may shout, but your inner voice must be louder. Your inner knowing must drown out the noise of the world. When you trust the vision, you walk differently. You speak with quiet confidence. You carry the feeling of fulfillment long before anyone else sees it. And eventually, the world yields. It cannot hold out against the force of a soul who knows what they are. It must conform. So look not at your current conditions. Ignore the how, dismiss the when, and let go of the what if. Hold fast to the vision. Return to it daily. Feed it with feeling. Nourish it with certainty. Make it so real in your inner world that the outer world has no choice but to catch up. This is how miracles occur. Not by chance, not by logic, but by the quiet power of one who trusts the unseen more than the seen. The facts are temporary, but the vision you hold in faith, that is eternal. And that is what creates. To chase is to declare with your energy that you are separate from what you want. It is to say, it is out there and I must pursue it. But the truth is, what you desire is not outside of you. It is waiting in a state of potential, ready to unfold the moment you align with it internally. The lottery win, or any manifestation of abundance, is not something you run after. It is something you draw to yourself through alignment. Alignment is a sacred inner harmony. It is when your imagination, your emotion, and your inner dialogue all point in the same direction. It is when your mind, heart, and spirit are not doubting, contradicting, or questioning, but calmly affirming, it is mine. There is no resistance in this state. There is no begging. There is no grasping. only receiving. When you chase something, you are affirming lack. You are feeding the belief that you don't already have it, and this belief becomes the signal you send out into the field of creation. The universe mirrors your state. If you feel desperation, you attract more situations that reinforce that desperation. But when you are aligned, when your thoughts, feelings, and imagination are in agreement with the end result, then you become magnetic. Reality flows toward you. Circumstances shift without effort. People, numbers, and opportunities rearrange to match your frequency. Inner speech is a powerful part of this process. What are you saying to yourself all day long? Are you rehearsing failure? Are you anticipating disappointment? Or are you constantly reaffirming that everything is working in your favor? Your inner dialogue is the language of your subconscious, and the subconscious shapes the world around you. Speak as one who already has. Let your inner words mirror the outcome you desire, not the one you fear. Likewise, your feelings are the fuel of creation. Feeling is the secret ingredient that makes imagination come alive. Without feeling, imagination is just a picture. With feeling, it becomes a doorway. When you imagine holding the winning ticket or seeing the money in your account or living your new life, don't just see it, feel it. Let the joy wash over you. Let the gratitude expand within you. Let the certainty settle in your bones. That is alignment. Alignment is not effort, it is surrender. It is the choice to let go of how and trust the power that responds to belief. It is not a forceful chase, but a gentle resting in the truth that it is already done. The more you relax into this state, the faster the world conforms. You do not need to run after the wind. You only need to become the version of yourself who has already received it. Think as they would think. Feel as they would feel. Walk as they would walk. And as you do, the outer world will bow to your inner conviction. You are not here to strive, you are here to align. And when you do, what you once chased will find you, effortlessly, perfectly, and right on time. The path to winning is not through chance, pressure, or pursuit. It is through consciousness. When you play not from desperation but from conviction, when you speak not from lack but from fulfillment, and when you receive not in fear but in gratitude, you activate a power that is far greater than luck. The lottery is not won outside of you, it is claimed within. Align your imagination, your inner speech, and your emotions with the end result. Ignore the facts, trust the unseen, assume the feeling, and above all, remember, you don't chase the wind, you become the one who already holds it. The world has no choice but to reflect your belief. That is the magic formula. Thank you, message. Thank you for listening with an open heart and a willing mind. May this message awaken the quiet power within you and remind you that you are the creator of your reality. Play boldly, speak truthfully, receive joyfully. It is already yours. If you're seeing this, it is not by chance. You were meant to. The universe or the higher intelligence you are one with has moved mountains to get this before your eyes. You are being reminded your blessings have already been dispatched. The very fact that you are hearing these words means that what you have asked for, what you have longed for in the quiet of your heart, has already been created in the unseen. Every deep desire, every longing that moved you to tears or silence, has been accepted and prepared for delivery. There is no force outside of you deciding if you are worthy. The only question is, have you accepted it in your imagination? You do not receive what you want, you receive what you believe is already yours. So if you see this message and it resonates, it is because you have already aligned, even if unconsciously, with your greater good. The blessing is not on the way, It is already here. Your only task is to receive it in your mind, to live as though it is true. This is not about hope. Hope waits. You were not born to wait. You were born to know. The world may appear unchanged, but do not let appearances fool you. The delivery begins the moment you feel the wish fulfilled. Feel it now. Speak as one who has received. Act as one who holds it already in hand. Every time you express gratitude, not for what is, but for what you know is yours, even before it shows up, you make room for miracles. And so I say this to you: walk like it's done, breathe like it's complete, rest in the knowing that the blessing is already in motion. Stop refreshing the door of life looking for tracking updates. Go live, go love, go rest, because if you're seeing this, your blessings have already been dispatched. It is sealed. It is finished. Now just open your heart and sign for it with faith. You are not here by accident. You didn't stumble upon this moment, this message, or this realization by chance. Everything in your life, every thought, encounter, whisper, and desire has brought you to this very point, right here and right now. This is not mere coincidence. This is divine appointment. What reaches your consciousness is sacred. Every word you hear that stirs your spirit, every sign that gives you pause, every message that seems to answer the very questions you whisper in solitude. These are not random occurrences. They are confirmations. They are sacred echoes from a higher realm, guiding you back to the truth that you are never alone and that life is always speaking to you. Life is not happening to you aimlessly. It is unfolding with intention. And intention always responds to belief. The moment you desired more, the moment you felt the quiet pull in your heart for something greater, something began to shift in the unseen. The energy of that desire was not ignored, it was not dismissed. It was received, and it began moving toward you. But the world does not always reveal what is happening behind the veil, so you are tempted to think nothing is changing. You assume silence means denial. You believe delay means you have been forgotten. Yet even in those moments when nothing seems to shift on the outside, something is awakening within you. And that inner change is the true delivery. The message reaching you now is not a hope. It is an announcement. It is a declaration that forces greater than your understanding are working in your favor, and they are closer than you know. This message is not just words, it is a mirror. It reflects what your spirit already knows, but your mind sometimes forgets: that you are not left behind and that you are not lost. You are being guided moment by something that responds to your imagination, your feelings, and your inner conversations. The message comes when you are ready to hear it. Not a second too soon and never a moment too late. It is a quiet reminder that life is interactive, that the outer world bends in response to the inner, that the very presence of this message before your eyes is the signal. Something has been dispatched to you. An answer, a gift, a new path, or a blessing that your soul already called for. Now the question is not whether the blessing is real. The question is whether you will allow yourself to believe that you are worthy of it, that you are connected to it, that you are already one with the thing you seek. When you accept the message, you activate the miracle. When you say yes in your spirit, you begin to see what was always there. So stop doubting what your heart knows. You didn't find this message, it found you, because you were meant to. Because something unseen is working in your favor. Because blessings don't knock on random doors. They arrive exactly where they were invited with faith. And you, dear soul, have already placed the order. The moment you imagined it, the moment you felt that silent longing rise within you, something began to move. A seed was planted, not in the physical soil of this world, but in the unseen realm where all things are born. Before a single word was spoken aloud, before you ever shared your desire with anyone else, the universe heard you. It recognized the vibration of your yearning and responded, not with delay, but with creation. Creation begins not in the outer world, but within. The invisible responds to the invisible. And what is your desire if not a signal from the deeper part of you? A message from your spirit telling you what is already yours in potential form. The longing was not empty, it was not meaningless. It was evidence that your soul remembered something your eyes could not yet see. You must understand, the moment you felt that desire deeply, your blessing was formed. It was already shaped in the unseen. It was dispatched in spirit before you even finished your silent prayer. You didn't need to earn it. You didn't need to struggle for it. You only needed to feel it real. Many believe that desires are selfish or random, but the truth is far more beautiful. Your desires are divine clues. They are reminders of the infinite possibilities available to you. You are not being teased by the things you want. You are being shown what is already possible for you, what is already written for you in the invisible script of your life. This world is slower than the spirit. Here, things unfold in time, in space, in steps. But don't let that trick you into thinking the delay means absence. Just because your eyes don't yet see it doesn't mean it's not on its way. It is being prepared in ways your logic can't grasp. Paths are aligning, people are being moved, doors are creaking open behind the scenes, all to fulfill what you already call forth. What you feel deeply, what you truly believe and imagine, is not just emotional noise. It is a blueprint. The more you dwell in that feeling, the more real it becomes. Not because you're forcing it into existence, but because you're harmonizing with what already is. So stop doubting, stop questioning whether it was heard. The universe is not deaf, life is not blind. The divine responds to feeling, to imagination, to belief. That is the language of creation. Rest in the knowing that your desire was already heard. You do not need to beg, repeat, or plead. You only need to remain faithful to the vision within you. Revisit it often, not to wish for it, but to live in it. Act as though it is already yours, and soon the world will rearrange to prove you right. Let that quiet your fears. Let that silence the doubt. You were heard before you even asked out loud. And that is all the proof you need. No package is ever delivered to a house that refuses to open the door. No letter finds its way into hands that won't reach out to receive. The same is true of your blessings. The gifts life has prepared for you are not withheld. They are simply waiting for your acceptance. Until you believe it is yours, until you open yourself in full expectation, nothing can truly come into your world. The invisible responds to assumption, not begging. You must assume it is already yours. Not someday, not after struggle, not after proving yourself, but now, in this moment. In the silence of your being, you must feel the reality of what you seek. That is the door that must be opened. Not the door of effort, but the door of belief. It may sound backwards to many. The world teaches us to wait for proof before believing. But the spiritual truth is the opposite. You believe first and then you see. This is how the unseen becomes seen. You don't wait to feel wealthy until the money arrives. You feel the abundance now. You don't wait to feel loved until someone enters your life. You feel love now. That feeling is not empty. It is the signal, the vibration that aligns you with the reality you desire. Think of it like this. A delivery truck arrives with a package that has your name on it. It's already been shipped. It's already at your doorstep. But if you don't believe it's yours, if you refuse to open the door, if you question whether you deserve it or think it's meant for someone else, then it goes back. It doesn't stay where it's not welcome. And this is what happens spiritually every day. So many desires go unfulfilled, not because they weren't heard, not because the blessing wasn't prepared, but because the one who asked refused to accept. Not out of defiance, but out of fear, doubt, or unworthiness. To receive, you must open the door within. And that door opens through assumption. Assume the blessing is real. Feel the joy of having it now. Walk in the peace that comes from knowing it is already done. Speak from the identity of one who has already received. Let your inner world reflect the outcome, even before the outer world does. This is not about pretending or playing make-believe. It is about knowing that your reality begins in consciousness, that what you consistently assume and accept within must express itself without. There is no force outside of you withholding anything. The universe is not testing you, punishing you, or making you wait. It is only mirroring your state of belief. If you remain in the state of not yet, then not yet is what you will continue to experience. But if you enter the state of already mind, then that reality will find its way to you. So today, open the door. Accept it as done. Know it, feel it, live it within, and life will match your inner receipt with outer delivery. What you truly accept cannot be denied. Delay is never denial. It may feel like silence, it may look like nothing is happening. But don't let appearances deceive you. When the desire remains unmet in the physical, it does not mean the answer was withheld. It simply means the process is still unfolding. It means something deeper is taking place. Not just around you, but within you. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. Every moment of delay is a sacred opportunity for alignment. You are not being ignored. You are being readied. The blessing you seek is already dispatched, already formed in the unseen. But before it appears before your eyes, your spirit must be prepared to receive and sustain it. Think of gold being purified by fire. The flame is not cruel. It is necessary to burn away what is not gold, so that only the purest essence remains. In the same way, delay is a refining process. It burns away your doubt. It strengthens your faith. It teaches you not to beg, but to trust. Not to strive, but to rest in knowing. So if you are still waiting, do not fall into despair. Instead, ask yourself, am I aligned with what I desire? Do I still feel separate from it, or have I become one with it in consciousness? Life can only reflect your inner world. The moment you match the inner feeling of the thing you want, life has no choice but to express it outwardly. But the universe is kind. It will not give you something you are not yet ready to hold. It loves you too much to deliver prematurely. And so, when delay comes, see it as a gift, a sign that you are still being shaped, a chance to become fully available to the good that is already on its way. During the wait, your imagination is your sanctuary. Return to the end. Return to the state of the wish fulfilled. Feel it now as if nothing were missing. Do not use the delay as evidence of lack. Use it as an invitation to deepen your belief, to persist in the vision, to declare, even though I do not yet see it, I know it is done. This knowing is what transforms waiting from suffering into power. You begin to realize that delay is not a sign of rejection, but a sign of intimacy. It is a sacred space where you and your desire grow into one another, where you no longer chase the dream, but live in its reality within. And once that inner union is complete, the outer must reflect it. It cannot do otherwise. The law of life demands it. The seed has already been planted, And just as a flower blooms not on your schedule but on nature's, so too will your blessing arrive at the perfect moment, full, ripe, undeniable. So do not lose heart. Do not curse the space between asking and receiving. That space is holy. That space is divine timing in motion. Know this, the dispatch is in transit. You have not been denied, only prepared. And what is truly yours can never be lost. The invisible becomes visible, not through desperate wishing, but through unwavering assumption. This is the great secret that most overlook. To wish is to acknowledge lack, to cry out from a place of emptiness, hoping that something external will fill the void. But assumption is different. Assumption is powerful. Assumption is creation. It is the inner knowing that what you have imagined is already true, even before your senses confirm it. Everything begins in consciousness. What you see in your world today first existed as a thought, a belief, a feeling accepted as real. This is not philosophy, it is law. The outer world is a mirror, and it reflects not your fleeting wishes, but your persistent assumptions. What you assume to be true, you give life to, and what you live inwardly must take shape outwardly. You must understand the difference between hoping and assuming. Hope keeps you in the waiting room. It keeps you reaching, longing, anticipating, but never arriving. Assumption moves you into the state of already having. It shifts your inner self from separation to unity, from future to now. To assume is to live from the end, to feel the emotion of your desire fulfilled, to wake up and move through your day not as someone who lacks, but as someone who already has. This is not pretending, this is embodiment. This is the silent yet powerful stance of the soul that knows creation is finished and all that remains is unfolding. The world responds to you in kind. When you shift your assumption, life begins to shift around you, not because you manipulated circumstances, but because you aligned your consciousness with a different outcome. The world must reflect what you consistently and sincerely believe about yourself and your reality. So if you desire abundance, you must assume the state of one who is already abundant. If you long for love, assume the feeling of already being deeply loved. If you seek healing, dwell in the assumption of perfect wholeness. Feel it now, speak from it, think from it, act from it, and the world will conform. This is the key to manifestation, not repetition of affirmations, not visualizing without feeling, not begging the universe. It is your deep assumption, your acceptance of a new identity within, that causes the invisible to harden into fact. And here is the beauty. Once you truly assume, the pressure lifts. You no longer need to chase, control, or force. You rest, you trust, you allow. Because you know the seed has already been planted and the harvest is inevitable. Do not wait for proof before you believe. That is backward living. Instead, believe and proof will come. This is how miracles happen, not by chance, but by alignment, not by hoping something will change, but by assuming the change has already occurred within you. So live as if you've already received. Let your imagination be your reality. Let your inner world be the blueprint. And you will witness the invisible becoming visible not by effort, but by the quiet, certain power of assumption. Gratitude is the sacred proof that you have already received. It is not a polite response to blessings after they arrive. It is the power that opens the door for them to come in. It is the invisible receipt you present to life, the silent declaration that what you asked for is already yours. When you give thanks in advance, you step into the realm of certainty. You no longer question, wonder, or beg. You assume the posture of one who knows. And in that knowing, manifestation becomes inevitable. Gratitude in advance is not a trick. It is not a performance. It is the purest sign of belief. You are not thanking the universe because you hope it will do something. You are thanking because in your spirit it is already done. Gratitude then is your confirmation number. It tells the unseen world, I have received this. I claim it. I accept it fully. And with that acceptance, the physical world must eventually reflect what the spiritual world already confirmed. Many wait until circumstances change before they feel grateful. But that is not gratitude. It is observation. True gratitude transcends appearances. It rises up before any evidence arrives. It says, I know this is mine, even when nothing in your world has changed. And that bold declaration of thanks becomes the vibration that pulls your desire into form. Think of how you act when you've already received something. Your energy shifts. You move differently. You are calm, peaceful, and expectant. That is the power of preemptive gratitude. It tunes your mind and body to the frequency of fulfillment. It tells your subconscious mind that the journey is over. And when your inner world truly believes that, the outer world must catch up. This is why gratitude is so much more than a feeling. It is a creative act. It seals the vision. It anchors your desire in the present moment. When you give thanks with genuine emotion, you are telling your deeper self that it's safe to let go of striving. You've already arrived. You've already received. Now you rest in appreciation, not in anxiety. Even the smallest act of gratitude can shift everything. A whispered thank you in the morning. A silent nod of appreciation during the day. A feeling of joy as you imagine holding what you've asked for. These are not empty gestures, they are powerful affirmations of belief. Each one strengthens your connection to the unseen blessing. Each one pushes you further into alignment with its arrival. So if you've asked for something, anything, do not wait to feel grateful. Begin now. Begin before the evidence shows up. Begin before the door opens. Begin before the miracle takes shape. Because the moment you express genuine gratitude, you claim ownership of the blessing, and once claimed in spirit, it must appear in time. Live in that state. Wake up in it. Fall asleep in it. Let your gratitude go before you as a beacon. Let it declare to the universe that you have received, and then watch as life rushes to confirm what your soul already knew. Gratitude is not the end of the process. It is the beginning of manifestation. You did not arrive at this message by chance. It found you because the time has come to remember who you are and what already belongs to you. Your desires have been heard. The moment you felt them deeply, the blessing was dispatched in the unseen. Though it may seem delayed, it is never denied. You are simply being aligned, heart, mind, and spirit, to receive it fully. The invisible becomes visible, not through striving, but through assuming, not through pleading, but through knowing. Your task is not to chase what is already yours, but to accept it in consciousness. Live from it in imagination and give thanks for it in advance. Gratitude is your confirmation, and faith is your signature. Walk now as one who has received. Rest in the truth that your blessing is not lost, it is in transit. And the moment you align your inner world with that truth, the outer must follow. All things are already working for you. Are you say to me, thanks. Thank you for opening your heart to these words. May they awaken the knowing within you that your blessing is already here and all that's left is for you to receive it. Stay faithful, stay grateful, and watch what unfolds. Close your eyes for a moment and remember the thing you prayed for in the silence of your soul. the dream that lived in the quiet of your heart, the one no one knew you cried about. It's closer now than it has ever been. Not because the world is changing, but because you are. You thought you were waiting, but you weren't waiting. You were aligning. Every tear you shed, every moment you dared to believe, every time you imagined life better than it was, that was not waiting, that was becoming. You see, the moment you desired a thing with feeling, it was created. Your faith was the blueprint, your emotion was the fuel, and your imagination was the place where the divine blueprint was first formed. You thought it wasn't here because your senses couldn't see it. But the unseen is always first. The invisible is the birthplace of the visible. And now, the earth is catching up with heaven. You're beginning to sense it in small ways. A conversation that confirms what you felt, a coincidence that feels too precise, a shift in your spirit that says, it's already done. This is not a coincidence. This is not luck. This is the harvest of seeds you planted in silence. It may not come how you expected it. It may not look like the vision at first glance, but it is here. And if you don't reject it, if you don't doubt it, if you simply give thanks for it, as if it already has fully arrived, you will live it, walk in it, breathe it. The prayer was not you asking a distant God to move. The prayer was you moving into the state of already having. You spoke it in quiet and now it comes with force. You sowed in tears, but now comes joy. And the only thing you must do now is this: accept it. Accept it without fear. Accept it without guilt. Accept it without feeling unworthy. Your job now is to say thank you before it arrives. Your work now is to rest in the knowing that it has, because when you no longer ask and only live in the gratitude of receiving, the gates open and the blessings flood in. So today, walk like it's here, breathe like it's done, smile like the heavens have delivered, because they have. And the blessings you prayed for, they're not on their way, they're here. What you once felt was far from you, unreachable, or perhaps even impossible, has already taken form in the unseen realm. The moment you truly desired it and felt the reality of it within yourself, the act of creation was completed, not in the physical world that your senses can touch and see, but in the unseen, in the spiritual blueprint that shapes all things before they become tangible. The world you see is a mirror, not a maker. What exists around you is merely the echo of what you have imagined and accepted within. There is no such thing as unanswered desire when it is met with unwavering belief. The universe does not respond to need, it responds to knowing. And when you knew deep in your soul that what you asked for belonged to you, even for just a moment, it was done. In that sacred instant of inner acceptance, the seed was planted. And though your outer world may not reflect it yet, the inner world, where all things begin, has already aligned with your wish. The delay you perceive is not a punishment. It is not evidence that the universe is ignoring you or that you did something wrong. It is simply time aligning with eternity. It is the unseen working out the details, orchestrating the people, places, and circumstances necessary to bring the invisible into form. We are taught to think in straight lines, cause and effect, effort and result. But the truth is far more elegant. Once you feel the state of already having it, reality begins to rearrange itself around your inner conviction. You must not confuse what your senses tell you with the truth. Just because you cannot yet hold it in your hands does not mean it is not already yours. The invisible world is rich with answers, and it always precedes the physical. Like the roots of a tree hidden beneath the earth, Your answered prayer is already growing in silence, preparing to break through the surface. You do not dig up a seed to check if it is growing. You water it with trust, nurture it with joy, and wait with certainty. That which you thought was out of reach is already reaching back to you. Every time you return to the feeling of already having, every time you act in faith, you draw it nearer. But in truth, it is not coming closer. It is you who are aligning with it. You are shifting into the version of yourself who no longer needs to wait. You are meeting your blessing in the state where it already exists. So rest in the knowing. Let go of chasing and forcing. Release the doubt that creeps in when the world seems unchanged. Instead, return to the stillness. Feel the joy of already receiving. Know that the universe cannot forget what was born through your desire and belief. It is done, not in some future moment, but in the now. And your job is not to question how, but to remain faithful to the truth that it already is. What you once felt as distant is already complete in the invisible. Let that be enough. You are not waiting, you are aligning. The blessing you seek is not ahead of you, dangling like a prize just out of reach. It is within you, waiting for you to rise to its frequency. You are never meant to chase what is already yours. You are meant to become the version of yourself who naturally lives in the reality where that blessing already exists. The shift you crave will never come from effort alone, nor from begging, nor from time. It comes from identity. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. The law of life is mirroring, not rewarding. Your world is not responding to your need, it is reflecting your state. And so when you try to wait in the way we're taught, counting days, watching the clock, hoping for signs, you fall out of alignment. Waiting implies separation, but alignment implies unity. When you're aligned, you're no longer asking when or how, you're living as if it's already done. This is not about pretending, it's about embodying. It's about realizing that the life you dream of does not require you to do more. It requires you to be more. Not in the sense of performance or status, but in the sense of awareness. You must awaken to the version of you that already has peace, love, abundance, success. That version of you is not far away. It is within reach the moment you shift your self-concept. You don't have to beg the universe for what you already possess in spirit. Instead, you must align with it by assuming it as your truth. You walk differently when you know the answer has already been given. You speak differently when you no longer fear lack. You think differently when you know the outcome is already written. That is alignment, and the world can't help but match it. Circumstances are never the cause, they are the effect. The cause is always internal, the state you dwell in, the feelings you allow, the assumptions you carry. Shift your internal state and the external has no choice but to respond. The person who lives in alignment doesn't wait for things to happen. They carry the conviction that they are already happening beneath the surface, even if unseen. You must stop chasing and start transforming. You must stop begging and start believing. The difference between waiting and aligning is subtle but powerful. Waiting keeps you in a state of lack. Aligning moves you into fulfillment. Waiting delays, alignment manifests. So ask yourself not, where is my blessing, but instead, who must I be to live in that blessing today? And then become that. Feel that, move as that, let that state take root in your imagination and grow in your heart. Because the moment you shift inward, your world must shift outward. You are not stuck, you're not behind, you're not forgotten, you are aligning. And in that alignment, everything you've asked for is already reaching for you, ready to reveal itself the moment you finally recognize it as your own. The prayer was never about asking, it was about accepting. You were never meant to beg the heavens for what your soul already knows is yours. True prayer is not the words spoken with your lips, but the condition of your consciousness. It is not a transaction, it is a transformation. The moment you enter into the state of already having, you are praying correctly. That moment of stillness, of gratitude, of deep inner knowing, that is the sacred space where all things are received. You may have been taught that prayer is about petition, about pleading with the higher power to intervene, but the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Prayer is not reaching outward, it's sinking inward. It's the act of accepting within your spirit the reality of your desire as if it were already yours. You do not need to convince the universe to give, it has already given. Your only task is to receive, and receiving happens through alignment, not anxiety. This is why so many prayers go unanswered, not because they are ignored, but because they are not believed. To pray while still feeling separation is to speak words without power. To say you believe while continuing to dwell in the state of lack is to cancel out the prayer with your inner contradiction. Real prayer begins the moment you stop trying to get and start choosing to know. To know that what you desire has already been heard. To know that the answer exists, even before the evidence appears. When you pray correctly, you don't feel tension, you feel relief. Because you are not initiating something, you are stepping into what has already been prepared for you. The shift is internal. You walk differently, you speak differently, not because you are pretending, but because your inner world has changed. You are no longer requesting, you are resting. And this rest, this quiet inner confidence, is the sign that you have truly accepted the blessing. You cannot fake this. You cannot trick the universe into delivering something by repeating the right words. You must become the person who already holds it. That is what real prayer does. It changes you, it reshapes your self-image, it raises your awareness, it teaches you that you are never waiting for something to happen. You are simply being invited to believe that it already had. The moment you shift into the consciousness of having, things begin to move, not because you forced them, but because the world must reflect your new state. This is law. You no longer need to ask repeatedly, hoping for favor. One prayer. One true moment of inner acceptance is more powerful than 1,000 cries spoken in fear. So stop pleading, start believing. Sit in silence and feel the truth of what you've asked for as though it were already yours. Let your heart say thank you, not from desperation, but from completion. Because the one who accepts receives. The one who embodies the end arrives at it. The prayer was never about asking to be heard. It was about knowing you already were. Signs may not look like miracles, but they are. The world has taught us to wait for thunder and lightning, to expect the heavens to part and deliver our blessings in grand, unmistakable gestures. But real miracles often arrive gently, quietly, not with a bang, but with a whisper. You may be looking for fireworks, but the universe often moves in stillness. And when it does, it speaks in signs. Subtle shifts, moments of peace, unexplained calm, dreams that feel more real than waking life. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. You may not see the physical form of your answered prayer yet, but you felt it. You've noticed yourself becoming less anxious, more grounded. That inner calm you're starting to feel, that's not just maturity, it's alignment. It's a sign. That recurring dream where you feel the freedom, the love, the abundance, that's not just your imagination, that's your inner world previewing what's coming. These soft impressions are not placeholders for the real thing. They are the real thing in seed form. You must train your eyes to recognize miracles before they are obvious. Because what you call small is actually sacred. A sudden moment of clarity that ends your confusion, a conversation that speaks to your exact need, a sense of knowing, even when the world gives you no proof. These are signs that your inner world has shifted. And when the inner shifts, the outer must follow. Many give up on their desires not because they weren't answered, but because they didn't recognize the signs of their arrival. They expected a door to burst open, but missed the soft hand turning the key. They wanted the entire staircase revealed and ignored the one step illuminated before them. But that's how it works, one subtle shift at a time. And each one is a miracle if you choose to see it that way. There's no such thing as a random moment when you're in alignment. That gentle feeling that tells you to rest, that's your spirit being prepared. That flicker of hope that returns after days of doubt, that's evidence that the unseen is working in your favor. Miracles are not only found in the manifestation, they are found in the movement of your heart, your mind, your feelings. You must not be discouraged by silence. Often silence means the universe is arranging, not ignoring. Often the stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness not yet expressed. Your only task is to keep walking, keep trusting, and most importantly, keep noticing. Gratitude sharpens your vision. When you are grateful for the small, you become capable of receiving the great. So notice your peace. Notice how you no longer chase. Notice how the fear is fading. These are signs. Not the loud kind, but the faithful kind. The kind that confirms what you prayed for is landing softly into your life, like morning light entering a quiet room. The miracle is already happening. It may not look like you expected, but it's here. And if you can feel it, if you can honor it before the full picture appears, then you have truly become the one who no longer waits, but receives. Imagination was the bridge. Now the physical is catching up. Long before your desire ever touches the material world, it lives in the unseen realm of imagination. There it is real, alive, and fully formed. It's not a fantasy, it's the blueprint. Your imagination is not pretending. It is perceiving what the physical world has yet to reveal. When you feel something deeply within, when you see it so vividly in your mind that it stirs your emotions, you are not imagining in vain. You are building, you are creating. Everything that exists around you was once imagined. The chair you sit on, the home you live in, the technology you use, all were once unseen ideas held in the minds of those who dared to believe in what had not yet taken form. This is how all creation begins, not with the physical, but with the invisible spark of belief. Your imagination is not just a tool. It is the place where miracles are conceived. And now, the shift is happening. The outer world is beginning to reflect what you once held within. Maybe it's not complete yet, but you can sense the signs. You notice people showing up, opportunities presenting themselves, emotions stabilizing, old limitations falling away. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The physical is catching up. The seed has broken the surface. But the temptation to doubt is strongest right before the full manifestation. Your senses may still argue. It's not here, they whisper. Nothing's changed. But your senses can only confirm what already is. They cannot see what is becoming. And so you must stay loyal to your vision. You must remain faithful to what you imagined, even when reality still looks the same. Loyalty to the unseen is the greatest test of faith. It's easy to believe when things are visible, when evidence surrounds you. But true power lies in the ability to remain rooted in the unseen, to know that what you imagined was not fiction but foresight. You walked the bridge of feeling, and now your world is responding. Slowly, subtly, then suddenly. You do not need to force it. You do not need to push. You only need to remain in the state of having. Feel it real. Speak as if it is already done. Act with the quiet confidence of one who knows the outcome is sealed, because it is. The delay is not denial, it's unfolding. This is where many fall away. They abandon the vision too soon. They see no change and call the dream dead. But the wise know that the imagination is more real than anything the eyes can see. The wise hold to the vision when it's hardest, and because of that, they see what others never do. So stay loyal to what you imagined, return to it often, feel it deeply, nourish it with gratitude. You are not creating it now, it is already created. You are simply walking toward what you've already built in spirit. And with every step in faith, the invisible becomes visible, the imagined becomes physical, and the dream you once held in silence becomes the life you now live in fullness. Gratitude is the signal that you've already received. It is not simply a nice feeling or a polite response. It is a declaration, a vibration, a state of consciousness that says it is done. When you give thanks not out of hope, but from the deep assurance that what you desire is already yours, you align with the very frequency of fulfillment. Gratitude is not a reaction to blessings, it is the cause of them. Most people wait until they see change to express thanks. They wait until the money arrives, the healing comes, the relationship begins. But this kind of gratitude is conditional. It is based on the senses. It is rooted in doubt and delay. True gratitude, the kind that opens doors and shifts reality, is unconditional. It happens before the evidence, not after. It is spoken in faith, not in response. When you start to say thank you for what you cannot yet touch, you are telling the universe, I already possess this. I already live in this reality. And in that moment, the world begins to reshape itself around your inner truth. You are no longer asking, you are affirming. You are no longer reaching out, you are receiving inwardly. This is the great secret of manifestation. You must feel as though it is already done. And gratitude is the purest expression of that feeling. You cannot fake it. You cannot say the words with doubt in your heart and expect results. But when your thanks rise from a place of conviction, everything begins to move. Gratitude changes your posture. It quiets the anxious mind. It brings peace to the waiting heart. Because a grateful heart is not waiting in uncertainty, it is dwelling in completion. You are no longer chasing blessings, you are simply watching them unfold in divine timing. You walk with a calm assurance, not because you are lucky, but because you are aligned. And the world responds. The right people appear, the door opens, the answer arrives. Not because you forced it, but because your gratitude became a magnet. It was the energetic proof that you already held the thing you prayed for. And the universe, like a mirror, reflects what you truly hold within. So begin now. Not tomorrow, not when the evidence appears, but now. Give thanks for the love, the health, the freedom, the abundance, as if it is already yours. Say it in silence. Whisper it to the sky. Write it with conviction. Let every breath become a prayer of fulfillment. Let your heart say thank you, not out of wishful thinking, but out of inner certainty. The moment you shift from asking to thanking, you step into the state of receiving. And in that state, you do not need to wonder, when will it happen? You simply rest in the knowing that it has. Gratitude is not a practice. It is a power. It is the signal that you have already received. And once sent out, the universe has no choice but to confirm it. What you once called waiting was never waiting. It was alignment. The desires that stirred your heart, the visions you held in imagination, the prayers you whispered in silence, they have all been heard. And more importantly, they have already been answered in the invisible. Every shift you feel within, your peace, your clarity, your stillness, is proof that the physical is catching up with what your spirit already knows. You are not chasing your blessings, you are remembering they were always yours. You are not begging for miracles, you are recognizing them in every subtle sign. The world around you is starting to reflect the world within you. Stay loyal to your vision. Trust the quiet. Give thanks before you see. This is how the unseen becomes seen. Now walk in the assurance that the blessings you prayed for are not coming, they are here. And as you move in faith, feel in wholeness and give thanks in advance. The invisible will continue to unfold into your reality. Thank you for listening. May you live from the end, give thanks like it's done, and receive all that is already yours. If your eyes have fallen on these words, then something deep within you already knows. This is not a coincidence. You are not here by chance. You are here because something extraordinary is being prepared behind the veil of your current reality. The truth is simple, the world you see is not fixed. It bends, shifts, and molds according to the state of your being. If you are ready to be blessed, then you must first know yourself as blessed. Not later, now, not when things improve. Now, not when you have the proof. Now. You are not here to beg, you are not here to struggle. You are here to remember that your reality is not created by effort, but by inner knowing. The moment you imagined a better life, the moment you dared to see yourself wealthy, healed, loved, free, the seed of that reality was already planted. And if you do not doubt it, it must grow. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop wondering how. The how is never your business. Your business is to accept it, to embody it, to feel the truth of it before it becomes visible. Blessings do not arrive when you are desperate. They flood in when you are aligned. And alignment is not action, it is awareness. Right now, if you are still and honest, you can feel it. A shift. A current of energy pressing against your old patterns. You are being prepared to rise, not slowly, but suddenly. Not through logic, but through faith. If you are seeing this, it's because you are ready. Ready to release your attachment to the struggle. Ready to rest in the assurance of fulfillment. Ready to become the version of you who no longer hopes, but knows. And once you know, your world must follow. Your reality must bow. The walls must fall. The opportunities must arrive. The blessings must burst through in a way that makes no sense to the rational mind. So breathe. Anchor into the end result. Smile at the unseen and walk as if your miracle is already echoing across time to meet you. Because it is. And soon, very soon, your reality will explode with the blessings you once only dreamed of. Your current reality is not some fixed, immovable structure. It is fluid, responsive, and deeply personal. Everything you see, experience, and live through on the outside is simply the projection of what you hold within. This world is not punishing you, nor is it rewarding you arbitrarily. It is mirroring the beliefs, assumptions, and emotional tones you carry most consistently. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. This is the truth most people never discover, and yet it is the key to transforming your life into something miraculous. When you look around and see limitation, it is not because the world is limited. It is because limitation has become a familiar vibration within you. You have accepted it as truth, and so your reality obeys. But the moment you turn inward and begin to shift your awareness, when you begin to entertain new thoughts, new visions, new stories, everything outside must rearrange to reflect this new state of being. This is why inner conversation is so powerful. What are you telling yourself all day long? What internal dialogue are you entertaining? Are you constantly rehearsing problems, rehearsing lack, and replaying stories of defeat? Or are you cultivating a quiet but unshakable certainty that life is unfolding in your favor? Because whether whispered or screamed, every inner word becomes flesh. Every internal assumption becomes a brick in the structure of your experience. Blessings begin with a shift in perception. They do not descend from some distant sky. They emerge from the ground of your consciousness. The explosion of blessings is not something you wait for, it is something you align with. When you revise the script playing in your mind, you give permission for a new reality to come forth. You are not chasing anything, you are simply allowing the world to echo the new sound of your being. And here's the mystery: the world cannot help but respond. The outer must bow to the inner. If you cultivate a state of abundance, even if the evidence hasn't arrived, life will stretch and bend to meet that frequency. Doors will open, people will shift, unexpected blessings will burst through in ways you could never predict. This is not magic. It is law. But most people try to change the outer world first. They push, they fight, they beg, they complain. And yet nothing moves because their inner state has remained the same. They are trying to alter the mirror instead of changing the face that looks into it. The mirror doesn't lie, it simply reflects. So if you are tired of lack, stop focusing on it. If you are exhausted by rejection, stop expecting it. Instead, begin speaking to yourself with kindness. Begin seeing yourself as chosen, as favored, as already whole. Carry yourself as one who walks in blessings, not because you are forcing them to come, but because you know they are already here. The world will not argue with your belief, it will mirror it. And the moment you revise your inner conversation, you begin to alter the structure of your universe. Let your inner world speak of blessings, and your reality will explode with them. This is the abyss until you see that horror and pain and bliss are just non-judgment. Imagination is not idle daydreaming. It is the creative force of your entire existence. What you imagine, you create. And what you imagine with emotion and consistency begins to take shape in the world you call reality. This is not theory. It is the silent engine behind everything you have lived so far. Every situation, every relationship, every financial state you've experienced, all began first in the unseen realm of imagination. You may not have been conscious of it at the time, but you were always imagining, and therefore always creating. You were not born to chase reality, you were born to form it. You are not the servant of circumstance, you are the source. Imagination is the seed, it is the beginning of every manifestation. But just as the seed is planted into soil and not seen for some time, what you imagine must first take root before it rises into form. The mistake people make is expecting instant proof before they've even fully planted and nurtured the seed. You must water your imagination with belief. You must live in the feeling that what you desire is already done, not in some far-off future, but now. The key is not to beg for it, but to assume it. You must embody the state of the wish fulfilled. This is the sacred art of living from the end. Living from the end doesn't mean pretending or faking. It means mentally and emotionally dwelling in the result before it arrives in the physical. It means closing your eyes and seeing your life as you desire it to be, and then waking up and walking through your day as if that version is unfolding in real time, because it is. Your imagination is not bound by logic, time, or circumstance. It doesn't care if you are broke, heartbroken, or stuck. It creates according to the feeling you maintain, not the facts you observe. When you truly imagine something with emotion, whether it's wealth, love, freedom, or healing, you impress it upon the deepest layer of consciousness. And once impressed, life begins to shape around that image like clay molded by an invisible hand. Do not concern yourself with how it will happen. The how is never your responsibility. The feeling is, the assumption is. Your job is to imagine clearly and feel deeply, as though your blessing has already arrived. If you can persist in that feeling, the physical world must obey. It has no choice. This is how reality changes. Quietly, gradually, then suddenly, what seemed impossible begins to emerge. What was once delayed arrives with ease. It may not come in the way you expected, but it will come. Because imagination never lies, it only creates. So every time you sit in stillness, do not waste the moment worrying or doubting. Use that sacred space to imagine boldly. See yourself at peace. See yourself successful. Hear the praise. Feel the gratitude. Touch the outcome. Dwell there until it becomes more real than what your eyes see. Because whatever you consistently imagine with feeling is not just a fantasy, it's a preview. And if you can hold to it without wavering, you will walk into it with your eyes open. Desire is not random. It is not a fleeting whim or a selfish wish. It is sacred. The moment a genuine desire rises within you, it is not born from the outside world. It is whispered from the deepest part of your being. That desire is evidence that the life you long for already exists in a higher, unseen reality. You are not chasing a fantasy. You are remembering something the soul has already known. You were not given the ability to imagine a fulfilled life without also being given the power to receive it. Desire is divine proof that you are meant to walk in the direction of its fulfillment. It is not a cruel tease or some distant possibility. It is your birthright calling you back home. Every desire is an echo of the life your soul came here to live. You feel the pull not because you're missing something, but because it's already yours on an unseen level. This is why true desires never fully leave us. You may distract yourself, suppress the dream, or convince yourself that it's impossible. But that quiet yearning will still remain. Because it's not just an idea, it's a piece of your spiritual blueprint trying to emerge. To deny it is to deny a part of yourself. To embrace it is to say yes to the path you were always meant to walk. You are not trying to create something from nothing. You are aligning yourself with something that already is. The moment you felt the desire in your heart, the path began unfolding. You don't have to chase, you don't have to beg, you don't even have to figure it all out. All you need is faith in the unseen and commitment to your inner truth. The world may try to tell you your dream is unrealistic. Your past may whisper that it's too late. But neither the world nor your past holds authority over your divine design. That desire within you is older than your fears. It was placed there for a reason. To guide, to elevate, to awaken the deeper power inside you. So instead of questioning the desire, honor it. Instead of doubting its timing, trust its source. The fact that it exists within you is evidence that the fulfillment of it is not only possible, it's already written. You are simply walking the path to meet it in form. This is why you must stop viewing desire as lack. Desire is not the absence of a thing. It is the presence of a possibility. It means the seed is already planted, and if you nurture it with faith, with imagination, and with persistence, it must bloom. You are not waiting on life to bless you. Life is waiting on you to accept the blessing that's already been issued. That's the secret. You are not chasing what is foreign. You are remembering what belongs to you. You are not creating from desperation. You are awakening to what's already done. So when you feel the desire, smile. That's not hope, it's confirmation. That's not fantasy, it's truth surfacing. Walk in that truth and watch reality rearrange itself to meet your inner knowing. There is no power outside of you withholding your blessing. There is no force working against you, no external condition that must first be conquered before your miracle can unfold. The truth is simple and eternal. You are the operant power. The moment you realize this, everything begins to change. Not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because you finally stop waiting for permission to receive what is already yours. You were never meant to chase answers or plead with life to move in your favor. You are not at the mercy of fate, luck, or circumstances. Your reality shifts the moment your belief does. The world outside bends to the assumptions you hold within. The delay you think is out there is only a reflection of your internal hesitation, your doubt, your unconscious agreement with lack or limitation. Every thought you consistently dwell in, every belief you accept as true, every assumption you refuse to abandon, these form the blueprint of your reality. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you assume to be true. And the moment you assume something with conviction, life has no choice but to match it. If you believe you are unworthy, the world will confirm that belief. If you believe you are chosen, favored, and destined for greatness, that too will be echoed back to you. There is no judgment, only reflection. The outer world is a mirror, and the hand holding it is your own. You don't need to struggle for the things you desire. You need to assume their presence and live from that assumption. Feel the reality of it within yourself. Walk, speak, and think as the one who already has it. Not as a game, but as a way of being. This is not pretense, it is power. You were given the creative faculty of imagination, not to escape reality, but to build it. You were given the ability to believe, not to suffer in doubt, but to shape experience according to your inner convictions. Every time you persist in a new assumption, even if nothing has changed yet in the physical world, you are shifting the foundation of what must eventually unfold. The question is never, will it happen for me? The question is always, am I willing to believe it's already done? Because when your belief becomes immovable, the external world will reorganize itself to mirror your inner certainty. What once felt far away will come suddenly, even effortlessly. Not because it's new, but because you finally assumed your rightful place as the operant power. No one else can create for you, no one else can limit you, and no one else can assume on your behalf. This is your gift, and it is your responsibility. The sooner you claim it, the faster life aligns with your deepest intentions. You do not need more time. You need more trust in the power that breathes through your consciousness. Stand firm in your new story. Walk boldly in your assumption. The moment you believe fully and without wavering, your miracle begins to move. Not from the sky, but from within you. When you dare to assume the end, when you truly embody the feeling of your desire already fulfilled, something miraculous begins to occur. Life, in its quiet, intelligent way, begins to rearrange itself around your assumption. People, places, situations, all begin shifting, aligning, and moving in ways your conscious mind could never predict. The path to fulfillment is never linear. It is never what you expect. That is the beauty of the process. The bridge of events will surprise you. It is not your job to figure out how your desire will come to pass. The how is never your responsibility. Your only task is to assume the end and remain faithful to it. The moment you do, life begins weaving together a sequence of events that lead to your manifestation. Often subtly at first, then unmistakably. It might look random, even inconvenient at times, but every step, no matter how disconnected it seems, is part of the unfolding. This is why you must trust the process, even when it makes no sense. You might lose a job, a relationship may shift, an opportunity might fall through. And yet, these are not setbacks. They are necessary adjustments. The old must make room for the new. The familiar must give way to the greater version of your life that is now taking shape. The bridge of events is always perfect, always precise. But it is rarely logical. That's because the logic of your current self cannot comprehend the orchestration of the higher order responding to your assumption. You've entered a new state, and now life must catch up. So don't interfere. Don't panic when things seem out of place. Don't doubt the dream just because the scenery looks unfamiliar. Remain anchored in your inner knowing. Keep returning to the feeling that it is already done. Let that be your compass, no matter what appears in the outer world. The bridge will carry you, even when you don't know where it's leading. It may take you through detours, strange encounters, or moments of silence. But if you stay true to your inner reality, you will arrive at the fulfillment with clarity and awe. This is where many fall short. They imagine the end, but then try to control every step. They monitor every hour, worry over the timeline, or try to force circumstances into place. In doing so, they delay the process. The creative power does not need your interference. It needs your trust. You are not walking alone. The unseen forces of life are working for you. They are arranging meetings, shifting timelines, nudging hearts, and opening doors you don't yet see. This is the bridge, and it is building itself beneath your feet as you walk in faith. So relax. Stay in the state of the wish fulfilled. Let the bridge of events unfold in its own strange and magical way. One day, you look back and realize every moment, every twist, every turn was guiding you, not away from your desire, but directly toward it. Faith is not merely hoping for something to happen. It is knowing deeply, silently, immovably that it already has. It is the quiet power that remains when the senses scream otherwise. Persistent faith does not require signs, applause, or confirmation. It rests in the unseen and declares it real, even when nothing around seems to agree. This is the kind of faith that cracks open the sky. Reality as you know it is shaped by what you repeatedly accept as true. When you refuse to waver in your belief, when you hold your vision steady in the face of contradiction, you are not just hoping for a miracle, you are calling it forth. The unseen begins to push against the seen. What once felt solid begins to bend. What once seemed impossible begins to take form. Your persistent inner knowing forces life to respond. But persistence is the key, not desperation, not frantic repetition. True persistence is peaceful. It is loyal to the end result, even if the middle looks messy. It is unwavering in the storm. The world may tell you to give up. Your circumstances may argue against your desire. Time may try to convince you that it's too late. But if you hold your inner conviction, you override it all. This is where most give up, not because they lack the power, but because they measure their faith by appearances. They ask, "Where is it?" instead of affirming it is done. They start strong, but allow doubt to take root when nothing changes immediately. And so they plant a seed and dig it up before it can sprout. Persistent faith is different. It does not negotiate with the senses. It does not need physical evidence to believe. It knows the outer world is just delayed reflection. The transformation always begins within. And when you continue to believe, day after day, in silence, in solitude, in moments when no one else can see or understand, that belief begins to mold the very structure of your reality. Then one day, it breaks through. Not slowly, but suddenly, the sky cracks open, the walls fall, the blessings pour in, not as a reward, but as a reflection of your endurance. Life meets you where you refuse to let go. This is not magic. This is law. The universe bows to the one who will not be moved. You don't have to understand how it happens. You only need to remain true to your vision. Hold the picture of your fulfilled desire with tenderness. Visit it in your mind. Feel it as already yours. Carry it with the calm confidence of one who knows the end is already written. This is the power that changes lives. This is the force that creates new worlds. When you remain loyal to the unseen and trust your vision over your senses, you do more than just manifest blessings, you become the cause of them. And the old world must fall apart to make room for the one you've dared to believe in. You are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready to remember its power. Every word, every truth you've just absorbed is a call to rise, not through struggle, but through assumption. Your world is not waiting for a miracle to arrive. It is waiting for you to believe that the miracle is already yours. Imagination, desire, faith, and inner conviction are not soft ideas. They are the tools of transformation. When you dare to persist in your inner vision, when you trust the invisible more than the visible, the world around you must change, not gradually, but suddenly, explosively, abundantly. Your blessings are not coming from outside. They are being released from within. So stand firm, assume boldly, and walk as if it is already done, because it is. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for believing. Thank you for choosing to remember the power that already lives within you. Your new reality begins now.